Alrighty. Yeah, hang on a second. Life, it's always getting in the way. Whew. It's freezing outside, but I'm going outside because today I want to talk about software version 11 and my old-fashioned legacy Tesla. Honestly, I'm incredibly impressed that Tesla are actually still updating my car, 7.5 years after I bought it. It's quite incredible, it really is. I mean, my phone from Samsung gets like 2-3 years worth of updates, maybe. But the car, it gets updates forever. Brilliant. To be honest, I think we might be getting close to the end of the updates for my car because, it's old. It has got the newer MCU2 though, which has led to a small issue with version 11 of the software. Hopefully it's an issue that Tesla will be fixing nice and soon. Right, I'm not actually going anywhere just yet, but actually without doing anything else, I can show you what the problem is. This is the charging screen. As you can see, there's no slidey thing, no picture of the car, no way to sort of tell that, I can't set the charge level at all. Now I will confess that my first thought was not, I'll head straight to Google and find out what's wrong. Instead I was like, oh, maybe it's because I haven't plugged the car in. Maybe it's because I'm driving along. Maybe it's because I've got an entire route planned for like 5 different destinations, which by the way is an awesome feature. I'm loving that. They've updated, in version 11 of the software, they've updated the route planning so that now not only can you add new stops, but you can move them around and delete stops and really plan your journey, which I think is just brilliant. Really handy. It does get slightly less handy once you start including charging stops because of course the car won't know that you are going to have a charging stop in. I don't think it does anyway. I don't think there's any way of saying I'm going to charge to 80% at this location. But nonetheless, it is still a really handy planning tool, which means that I don't have to go onto like Google Maps or something or one of the better EV route planning websites and actually sort of plan it all out and sort of try and guesstimate where my battery will be at the end of all of this driving around. So yeah, it's the route planning is fantastic. Other than that, they've changed a lot of the icons, clearly. There's a lot of little bits going on that I don't fully understand yet. I quite like the general way everything works. It is a bit weird that charging does not have the proper car thing. That is definitely a bug. Which has been reported to Tesla by various owners, so I'm reasonably confident that a software fix will be forthcoming. Probably not immediately forthcoming, because there is a sort of workaround. Assuming your car and your phone both get signal, you can still use the app to change the charge level in the car. So there's that. Other than that, I can't really see a huge, there doesn't seem to be much in the way of changes, to be honest. It's more just a sort of, it's more just a kind of update of the look of it, at least for me, because of course I don't have autopilot. It's a rear-wheel drive car. This is like a proper classic. And you will, if you have one of these old classic Teslas, as I understand it, if you're on the MCU1, you're not going to have the lack of being able to set your charge level. That's only if you've upgraded to the MCU2, which I have. So, it's that's the thing about Teslas. There must be so many different permutations of the vehicle out there because they constantly updated them anyway. So I don't even know how many different kinds of pack type there might be out there. Battery pack, I'm sure it's loads. You've got the MCU1, you've got the MCU2, you've got autopilot 1, 2, 3. I've lost count. Some of them have different hardware but different computers. It must be such a massive job updating their software. They must have done a really good job designing the sort of the modularity of it and the way it works and builds for different vehicles. I suspect, although I have no obviously no knowledge about this specifically, but this looks like the kind of thing whereby they forgot to create a specific image that's labeled as for the old cars with MCU2, and so because it doesn't have the image, it can't show that whole sort of slidey car section, maybe. But either way, I'm sure it will be a fairly simple fix when Tesla get round to fixing it. The car is fantastic though, other than that. I mean, 148,000 miles in, I think it is. Does it say? Where does it say how far I've gone? Yeah, 148,903 miles driven in just over 7.5 years, and it has been brilliant. It still drives basically like it did when it was new, which is amazing. Wow, long may that continue. I am extremely happy with the way this car is aging so far. Boom, well done Tesla. Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what other sort of changes, you know, people with autopilots have come across, whether they like it or not. I've heard that Tesla are going to hopefully at some point in the future actually start rolling out more advanced self-driving features to non-US cars. The regulatory side is always their big barrier with that though. Whether they'll be doing so, I think probably in the UK, hopefully, touch wood, we'll be looking at getting something a bit more advanced in the full self-driving end of things fairly soon, because I have heard on, I think it was BBC News a little while ago, that the UK government is thinking about enabling level 3 autonomous driving legally on motorways. So in other words, you'd be able to pull onto a motorway, activate your full self-driving, and then it will do the motorway driving for you, and you won't be, and this is critically important here because it actually makes this feature useful and worth having, you critically will not have to legally be paying attention to the road. You'll have to be able to take over if the car prompts that you need to take over, so at a moment's notice you need to be there ready to go for it, so you can't get into the back of the car and fall asleep, or fall asleep in the front of the car. But what you could do is look out the window a bit and, you know, relax, engage in conversation with somebody else, safe in the knowledge that the car is actually driving. That will be awesome. It bit down the line though. Yeah, so that's it for me. Mainly, it's a cosmetic update and also a genuine finessing of the route planning side of things. You know, they really seem to have got that nailed now, which is great. What they don't have nailed though, obviously, is that one little bug. And I think that's all for the sort of car updates so far. My baby needs a clean. I'm going to give it a good clean as soon as we get out of this winter sort of thing. Although, new year, it's started. I'm feeling a lot more positive now because there's sunlight in the sky. Oh, it was so dark over Christmas. It was basically like being inside a cloud for 2 solid weeks, right when there is the minimum amount of sunlight possible in the whole of the UK. So my SAD was going crazy. Anyway, we're through that now. Ooh, one more good bit of news, which is maybe quite happy. The EV sale, the car sales numbers are in for December, and EVs make up 26% of all the new cars sold. Wow! And Tesla on its own makes up 9% of all the cars sold in the UK, all the new cars. So basically, almost 1 in 10 of every new car sold was a Tesla. And people wonder why that company is worth so much money. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me. You know, when you look at the other electric car makers out there, like the BMWs, Mercedes, Nissan, people like that, they are making these cars, they are selling them in reasonable volume, but they're not doing like 1/10 of all the cars sold. You know, that's quite impressive. I hope you've all enjoyed today's video, found it interesting. If you have, remember to leave a like and share it and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, the links are in the description. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters. I'll see you all in the next episode of my vlog. Bye.